Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
Welcome to Overwatch Central. So this is the second episode of our advanced guides presented and sponsored by HyperX. In this episode we will be covering Reaper, providing you with some advanced gameplay tips that should help you become a better Reaper player. This guide is mainly aimed at people with a bit of experience with Reaper, but even if you haven't played him much, you will still be able to follow along and learn some stuff anyway. But let's move on to the Reaper tips.
These tips are in no particular order, though most tips that are connected to each other are sort of bundled together. We're gonna start with the more general tips though. And first up is a bit of a small and weird yet useful tip of mine. If you're out of sight from the enemy, then hugging walls can be really powerful. Just sitting around doorways or just next to the choke when defending, waiting for the enemy to come a little bit closer makes it a lot easier to get a lot of damage in when defending. If you're attacking, then you should look to work similarly when flanking. And if anything goes wrong, then just spam shift and make your way back towards your allies for help. A Mercy might be there to heal you, and a Reinhardt might be able to instantly put you behind his shield. Speaking of which, never use the Wraith form to get yourself into a fight. Dip in and out of fights and make sure that your Wraith form is off cooldown before you dedicate and engage again. You can also use your Wraith form to stall out a bit if you know your team is about to come and help you, as you will still heal from things like the Lucio AoE heal when you're in Wraith form. When you're attacking, you should also look to find some good spots to shadow step through chokes. Teleporting through a choke can be extremely effective if the enemy doesn't see you teleport, and it's even better if they don't hear you, of course. You'll learn good spots on most maps as you play more Reaper, but do make sure to let your team know every time you're about to shadow step forward a lot, as it will otherwise just put you massively out of position and your team won't be able to catch up with you fast enough.
Target prioritization is incredibly important with Reaper. Obviously aiming to kill tanks and supports mainly, but within those roles there are some heroes that Reaper is better at dealing with than others. As for tanks, Roadhog really struggles with Reaper out of all of the other tanks. Also Winston as well. As for supports, then it should be a pretty easy pick off if you can get behind him due to the lack of movement abilities and self-heal that he has. When using a Reaper ultimate, you are not looking to kill tanks. You want to look for their squishier heroes, and getting DPS heroes killed off is great, but you're mostly aiming for those support heroes, so make them your priority. You can also use the ultimate mid-air by dropping down from above. Reaper's ultimate actually deals damage in a sphere around him, and that includes vertically. If you pop the ultimate before you hit the ground, you will have dealt more damage before the enemy can properly react to the situation, and hopefully you'll be able to kill them off.
Now I want to talk a little bit more about the general gameplay philosophy revolving around Reaper, because in the end you need to tie together these tips with something, right? So first of all, a lot of his play really does revolve around the target prioritizing. You can easily bring up and look at the enemy team and know exactly who you should be sort of flanking and going for, and that should always be your starting point. Know who to hunt and then find out how to hunt them. The Wraith form is such an easy way of escaping any sort of bad situation, and dedicating a lot towards getting that one person killed and then Wraith forming out will be quite consistent, especially if the enemy won't know where you're coming from, or you're just coming around a corner or waiting around a corner, that sort of thing. Now when actually Wraith forming, I like to dedicate fully first and really walk all the way up into the enemy's face with my shotguns, because I deal a lot more damage on close range. Wraith form and then turn around and sort of get out of there. A lot of the time you see people either try to save their Wraith form by not using it because the corner is so close, or they turn around, start walking, and then use the Wraith form when they've already turned around and know where they're going. But that's not really when you need it. When you get closer to the enemy, they're gonna try harder to punish you for your mistake, for overextending or whatever, and that's when you want to Wraith form. You'll be able to dodge more, and maybe when you're going back, you will actually have gained so much space and created so much space for your team that your team can sort of take your place in the front line and finish those enemies off for you. It's a very dynamic way of fighting with Reaper. You dip in and out so much, and it's in between these engages and disengages that you want to fit all these tips in. Alright, I hope this has been helpful. It's kind of hard to draw the line between essential and advanced tips for Reaper, at least in my opinion, as he really is a character that is so much about positioning. Once you actually have that down, the rest kind of comes with it. It really won't be as hard or difficult to work upon and improve. Anyway, I'm gonna hand it back to Ryan for an outro.
And that concludes the second episode of our advanced guides presented by HyperX. Thank you very much for watching. Do let us know if these tips were helpful. Dropping a comment and a rating is always appreciated, and it does help out the channel a lot. Check out HyperX for some awesome gaming gear and subscribe for more Overwatch content. Until next time, take care, we'll see you then.